Hello everyone, Dynamo here. I hope you all had a good winter break, and let's kick this off with a small commentary discussion video regarding Marvel Rivals. Now, during my winter break, I want to get something off my chest here, specifically some character gripes I have about this game. By the way, if you haven't heard or played Marvel Rivals, I highly suggest you do because it's free. Anyways, back on topic. Alright, we're not going to talk about character design. Let's all admit, the developers really knocked that out of the park since they leaned heavily into the comic book aspect which they originated from. I'm thankful that it's not MCU, Marvel Cinematic Universe, related, because the colors are pretty dull and it's kind of everywhere. So I'm glad this game has its own identity. But I want to talk about gameplay. While playing around a few different heroes and villains, some of their skill kit and abilities fit their personality and power sets. On the other hand, some of my favorites just doesn't make sense at all. I can go on about many of them, but I know you don't have all day to listen to me ramble, so I'm just going to cut this video to one character. My African queen goddess, Storm. Storm, an X-Men, who is second in command leading Team Gold, a powerful mutant who is considered an Omega level threat with the most versatile array of abilities in the world, manipulating the weather on a large scale, able to conjure up hurricanes, create waves of floods from endless downpours, summon heavy hailstorms that can cause massive collateral damage, or blast you with lightning worth over 1,000,000 volts. Instead, here in Marvel Rivals, Storm's entire kit is so limited in this game, and her core gameplay mechanic is the most uncreative I've ever seen in a video game. We have a massive collection of lore and history about her, yet Storm's in-game skill set are very contradicting to her character. Marvel's Rivals Storm is so damn boring to play. Let's dissect the issues here and see what we can fix. Let's look over at Storm's main attack, the Wind Blades, shooting tiny, thin disc vacuum of air projectiles at you with a travel speed of a snail. And she has to reload them. Seriously, reload. This lady who can manifest a climate at the flick of her wrist, and she has to reload some wind? That makes no sense on her part. Like, why she has to do that? So how can we fix this? Fix number 1 for Wind Blades. We remove the reload function and replace it with a slow rechargeable energy meter. This will free up the reload button. We'll add another ability later on. Fix number 2. Have the Wind Blade attacks have different level of strengths by charging them up of levels 1, 2, and 3. The higher the level, the faster, stronger, and bigger the Wind Blades become, while consuming more energy from the gauge, thus kinda balances out. Number 2 ability, Storm's Bolt Rush. Let's admit, it is total shit. It sucks. The starter animation takes way too long, the damage is pitiful, and the area effect is barely so noticeable. I think the developers tried to design this like a laser beam, which I totally understand. Storm can shoot lightning from her fingertips, but you gotta remember, she can summon lightning from the sky too. In my opinion, I would think that you should change the whole functionality of this thing. Now, I wanna make another reference from another video game called Destiny 2. There's this class, I think it's the Warlock or Titan, who has grenades called Storm Grenade, which summons down several lightning bolts from the sky, which does a minuscule amounts of damage, but it builds up over time. Why not have storm bolts strike down on enemies instead in a certain area of effect, instead of just having her charge up her animation and try and hit somebody, which by the way is very tiny. You can barely hit anybody with this Bolt Rush ability. Number 3, give her a defensive ability. Now she's floating around the map very slowly and she has no way for enemies to get off of her. She has to be with her teammates in order to survive, which kind of sucks. So I'm gonna use PlayStation controls, I'm sorry. The square button, when I told you that we're gonna remove the reload function, give her a defensive ability which allows her to create a sphere of whirlwind around her, a moderate radius, like knocking enemies back. It's like a get off me move for free. But to balance that out, I would say it has to have a long cooldown for like say 18 to 20 seconds. So she cannot spam it all the time. 4th, give her another ability. For those who don't know, Storm can just create more than wind and lightning. She can also create snow, a blizzard, just like in the comics, but a lot of people don't really explore that. So I want to give her an ability that involves ice. Yeah, I know that we have another hero named Luna who can create ice, but for Storm's case, it's a little different, since she can control the area around her. We should make this blizzard ability a utility that hinders the enemies and helps her allies. Example, this blizzard should temporarily blind and slow down enemies, let's say like a flashbang grenade like in Call of Duty, and slow them down by 20% for 3 seconds. When she activates this ability, it should hit in a radius in an area in shape of an upside down trapezoid or cone. So I'm trying not to make her too overpowered, but give her more abilities and utilities to make her more well-rounded. And now to her aura skills. When you play as Storm, she has this field around her, this ring you see. Like, this is the area that allies and enemies are in to get like a buff and a debuff. However, to me, Storm is a very slow moving character, and this aura that she produces is very tiny and not many enemies are going to be affected, and allies are not going to get the benefit as much. I would say that increase the aura about 10 meters or 20 yards. So let's just change up her functions. Aura number 1, raining downpour, little water droplets everywhere. This would say reduce the healing effectiveness on enemies while increasing allies' effectiveness by 20%. Also, another functionality is that increase the blast radius of the bolt rush ability. More lightning bolts. Water conducts electricity. Storm can actually switch her aura abilities, but let's change it up again. The second ability for the aura, Hailstorm. All allies within the Hailstorm aura take 10% less damage from all sources, while enemies take 1 damage per second while in the aura. Also increase the blast radius of the Blizzard ability, so her aura boosts her other secondary and utility abilities. Oh, one more thing before I close this video. I noticed that Storm is super slow even for a flyer, and she has no mobility. Give her an air dash. Why is that so hard? Just give the lady an air dash. She controls wind, damn it. She can just propel herself into the map. Give her an air dash, let's say 3 stocks of air dashes, with each of them with an 8-second cooldown. Closing the video, I'm on and off about Marvel Rivals. I'm playing it once in a while. If you can make these changes with Storm, I might actually spend some money to get her in-game skins. Just saying. Thank you all for listening. Dynamite out.